Coming up on the show, a popular grocery chain has a problem with the price tag. It could be leading to you being overcharged. Plus, what's being done to put an end to shaming people with mental illness? And is the Southern Drawl on the way out? New research here in Georgia seems to think so. This is The Take. Let's get it. Hello and welcome. I'm Chesley McNeil, and this is The Take, where we go above and beyond the headlines and we look at the why and how stories are impacting you and your community. We invite the experts in to give their take on today's top stories, and we try to have just a little bit of fun as well. It wasn't fun this morning, though. Yet we begin with North Georgia assessing the impact of powerful storms which rolled through the area. Here's what it looked like on Piedmont Road. This is at Miami Circle, where flooding shut down both sides of the street there in both directions. Even one motorist trying to get through. Look at that, stalled. Yeah, the storm triggering tornado warnings in the area. We had all kinds of warnings this morning. All that lightning, all that heavy rain. We had down power lines in the state. Oh boy, what a mess. Things are starting to clear out now. But 11Alive's Dan Kennedy joins us now from Butts County, where we had a tornado warning in that area earlier. Dan, what are you seeing right now?
Hey Chesley, we just stumbled across another down tree, this one uprooted from the ground up. This is on Plaza Drive in Jenkinsburg in Butts County. You see a rather large tree up at the roots, and this looks like it clipped the home in the front yard of which it rests, and then also perhaps did a number on the neighbor's home just next door. Again, we just pulled up to the scene within a couple minutes, and neighbors out here doing some cleanup. This is some video from earlier this morning on Jenkinsburg Road, where we also saw some trees down. One snapped in half, one down at the base of the trunk. Chesley, the good news in all this is we are assessing damage, and I just spoke with county officials as well. We can tell you that there are no injuries to report out of Butts County, and really, all things considered, minimal damage.
So Dan, when you look at the damage that you're seeing around, do you see it kind of spread around, or is it all in like one line? Like, for example, that tree that you had right there behind you just kind of looked like it was uprooted. So that looks like just straight wind damage. I know that there was a tornado warning, at least in that area, and at one point there was a confirmed tornado. So what have you seen?
Yeah, really kind of sporadic as we see this damage, not really concentrated or in one particular area, also not really widespread. The most trees we saw down in one particular area was the video we just showed you a moment ago on Jenkinsburg Road, Chesley. 3 down trees in 1 yard. Other than that, pretty sporadic, and again, from the county, pretty minimal.
All right, Dan, thanks so much, man. Stay safe out there, and really appreciate those reports. All right, folks, we are looking at things clearing out, and for the next couple of days, we don't have to worry about any rainfall. Whew, right? You're looking at sunny skies for today, rest of today, tomorrow as well, even into Friday. Now, you notice what happens. We go from 83 degrees on Thursday down to 77 by Friday. That's another front that's going to come through the area, but it will be dry. It won't bring us any thunderstorms, but will cool us down briefly. And then we're back into the 80s as we start the weekend Saturday. Sunday brings the 20% chance for an isolated shower or two. Better chance for that rain coming to us on Memorial Day. We've got a 40% chance for scattered showers. And then again on Tuesday, 50% chance for the rain. Don't forget, you can now stream live local reports and forecasting, in-depth weather discussions, and extended coverage during severe weather, all on your schedule. Check it out on 11Alive Weather Impact 24/7 right here on 11Alive Plus. All right, shoppers at one of the nation's largest grocery chains may be unknowingly paying more for groceries. An in-depth investigation by Consumer Reports and 2 news organizations found that Kroger customers were often charged higher prices at the checkout than what was listed on the store shelves. Here now from Consumer Reports, that investigative report with Derek Kravitz, who is joining us now. Hey, Derek, welcome back to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
All right, talk to us about this investigation. What's triggering these reports of people paying more at the cash register than what's being on the shelves?
Sure. So Kroger employees in Colorado who are in labor negotiations with that company told us that they were seeing price tag errors on sales items in the stores they work in. So we sent shoppers to Kroger stores in 14 states and the District of Columbia, including Georgia, to check those prices. And we found that in more than half of the stores that we checked, there were significant price tag errors. So the prices that were listed on sales items, discounted buy one, get one, those type of offers, were not what you would see at checkout, and people are unknowingly paying full price for those products. we found the average overcharge about $1.70 per item, or about 18%.
Wow. That's pretty hefty. Now, your report lists about 150 items with expired sales tags. What items in particular are we talking about here?
Everything from cough and cold medicine to dog food to salmon, boneless beef, coffee, juice, bottled water, everything. A lot of Kroger specific items too, but name brand items as well. So every department store aisle, every division, produce, vegetables, everything. So what we're telling people is to look pretty closely at the tags when they're shopping and checking out.
Are the store managers aware of this? Are the employees aware of the problem here?
They are. When we speak to employees across the country, they tell us it's a staffing issue. They don't have enough employees or hours in the week to manually change up to 15,000 different price tags every week. That's a lot of cutting and pasting onto store shelves. And so they do fix those prices when you bring it to the attention of a store associate. They'll fix it to you on the spot. They call it make it right. But you have to ask for it, and you have to do it while you're in the store or shortly thereafter. You can't wait days or weeks after the fact.
It seems like with the way things are scanned, because of that barcode, it would be triggering that. So there's not someone doing that in one computer or whatever. You have to change this physically, so you need bodies to do that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, there's no digital price tags yet at Kroger. Other grocery chains and some merchants do have digital tags, but these are paper. So that requires someone physically going through and changing them out.
All right, based on this, how can consumers protect themselves?
So we are telling people if you are really trying to watch out for this, take a photo or write down the sales price when you're shopping, and then compare that to what you're seeing at checkout, either with the receipt or when you're scanning something, and then bring it to the attention of a store employee. If it's after the fact, if it's days or weeks later, you can talk to your state attorney general there in Georgia. We checked a Georgia store in Canton, about an hour north of Atlanta. We found significant price errors there. So you can talk to your state attorney general or the Federal Trade Commission, which regulates supermarkets at the federal level.
Real quickly, you have another report coming out on Kroger today. What is that?
We are looking at secret shopper profiles that Kroger creates on 60 million Americans based off of your shopping data. So they predict your income, your education, basically who you are based on what you shop. And so we got an access to one of those profiles, and it had a lot of inaccuracies. So we're bringing attention to that.
Wow. Okay. Can't wait to see that one. Derek Kravitz with Consumer Reports. Thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
All right, folks, don't go anywhere. We got much more for you coming up after the break, right after this. Welcome back to the show. Overnight, the House Rules Committee gavelled into session and took up the Republicans' One Big Beautiful Bill. This comes after President Donald Trump pushed the House GOP holdouts to get behind it, reportedly using expletives to get his message across. Joining us now is Washington correspondent Alice Barr, who's been covering politics for years now. And Alice, we're hearing about expletives used by President Trump to get this message across. Tell us about it.
Yeah, that was yesterday when President Trump went over to Capitol Hill to try to urge House Republicans to all get on the same page. And the expletive was the F word that was apparently used in talking about Medicaid. That is really the crux of so much of what has been hanging up this big, beautiful bill so far. And he was saying to fiscal conservatives, on the right side of the Republican Party, not to F around with Medicaid, because there are those that want to see deeper cuts there in order to offset all of the new spending that's included in this bill. We're talking about a lot more money for immigration enforcement, for the military. And then critically, it extends the 2017 Trump tax cuts, which is just a lot of new money. It also temporarily takes away tax on overtime and on tips. And so there are a lot of Republicans, fiscal conservatives, who have said, hey, we're not really comfortable with having that much new spending and not being sure how it's going to be offset. There are independent reports that have predicted the bill could increase the federal deficit by as much as $3.8 trillion. even though there are cuts to Medicaid and to food assistance and to some climate provisions that are all included in the bill as well.
You mentioned those Medicaid cuts. Now, the Congressional Budget Office says that millions could lose that coverage. How do the Republicans justify that?
So Republicans have been saying that that's not correct and that they're only specifically targeting fraud, waste, and abuse in Medicaid. They think that there are undocumented immigrants that are on the rolls that need to be dropped off. I'm not sure that there's enough evidence to show that that's a widespread issue, but they pointed to that. However, there are also independent reports from the Congressional Budget Office, which is nonpartisan, that says at least 8.5 million Americans are going to lose their health care coverage if these cuts to Medicaid go ahead. And that's a lot of what the debate that's been ongoing for roughly about 8 hours now in that Budget Committee hearing has centered on. Democrats have been pretty fiery with their accusations about what's going to be cut here. We heard from one Democratic representative just about an hour ago saying that these tax cuts, the 2017 tax cuts, are so massive that we don't have enough kids to starve, enough people to throw off of health insurance. So then they're just going to have to finance the tax cuts through the federal deficit. And she's referring there to kids to starve. She's talking about the food assistance and people to throw off health insurance. She's talking about Medicaid. So some pretty hefty accusations being tossed around, though at the end of the day, it's Republicans that need to get on the same page because they have enough votes. They don't need any Democratic support in order to get this passed through the House, which the House Speaker is hoping to get that done by the end of this week.
Is the meeting still going on, Alice? How's the meeting going?
It is. Yeah, it's still going, and that's kind of the tenor of it. There's been these accusations from Democrats, and also about the timing. Again, since we noted that it started at 1 o'clock in the morning, they're saying, what are you trying to hide? What details are you trying to hide from the American people about what's included in this bill, the cuts and so forth? Republicans are saying that they need every hour of the day possible in order to meet that self-imposed deadline to try to get this passed fully through the full House by the end of this week.
All right, Alice Barr, we appreciate your insight. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. All right. It's estimated that more than 1 in 5 U.S. adults live with mental illness, but health officials say about only half of them receive treatment. Experts say oftentimes people don't seek help because of the stigma attached to mental health. Here now joining us is Latrina Foster, the Fulton County Director of Behavioral Health and Development Disabilities. Good morning. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right. Now, talk to us about this shaming that's been taking place as far as mental health goes and how far this goes back.
Yeah, so for years, there's been stigma around mental health and substance use disorders. However, through COVID, more and more individuals have began talking about mental health. And so hopefully individuals are feeling more comfortable to actually have the discussion around mental health, realizing that it's okay not to be okay.
What are the long-term impacts of a person experiencing mental health issues?
So mental health can impact people in many different ways. When it reaches a point where it's very severe, it impacts a person's ability to function on a day-to-day basis. So it impacts their functioning at work. It impacts their functioning at school, their ability to interact with their family and friends. So we highly encourage individuals that if you're experiencing mental health symptoms, to please seek help.
What are some of those early symptoms? Maybe I don't know that I'm experiencing. What are some of those early symptoms? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So feelings of sadness, anxiety that's persistent, that impacts your ability to interact with your friends and family. It impacts your ability to function at work. So symptoms that interfere with your ability to do daily activities.
How can we help out our friends, our family members? Is there a way that we may be able to see that in someone and give them some help?
So paying attention to your friends and family members. If they start to withdraw, if they're no longer interested in doing the activities that they used to engage in with you, they're withdrawing from the family, they're not answering the call, they're consistently or constantly depressed, they're sad, they're talking about things that do not create positive energy, I would say it's time for you to reach out to try to get help for them.
Yeah, this is becoming a big thing in our communities. Is there a way to educate communities without triggering that defense mechanism or any shame?
Yeah, and I think the fact that more and more people are talking about mental health, and I think that our community needs to become prepared and equipped to have the resources within their community and know what's available, so that when someone does reach out to you and they say, I'm not okay, you have access to a resource to connect them immediately.
Share with us some of those resources that you have in Fulton County that helps those in need.
Absolutely. So Fulton County offers an array of behavioral health services, a 70-mile county from north to south. We have strategically placed our behavioral health outpatient clinics throughout the county. We offer services in North Fulton and the metro Atlanta area, as well as in South Fulton. In October of 2024, we opened a 24/7 behavioral health crisis center where individuals have access to just walk into this facility 24/7 to gain access to care.
What about young people as well? We talked about the adults, but what about young people?
Absolutely. We offer services for children and adolescents as well in North Fulton, as well as in South Fulton, and also in the metro Atlanta area. So we have services for children and adolescents strategically placed throughout the county as well.
Speaking of children, the way that you said we could detect it in adults, is that the same with children as well? The sadness piece?
Yes, it could definitely be similar where they're withdrawn from their friends and family. Perhaps a student that was performing very well in school, all of a sudden their grades significantly drop. So just paying attention to our children, making sure that they're not constantly plugged into social media. They need a break from social media. The pressures that come to our youth from social media is out of control.
Oh man, yeah. Well, we won't get started on that. We'll need more time for that. Latrina Foster, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate your insight today.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right, do the same. All right, plenty more stories for you coming up after the break, folks. This is The Take on 11Alive Plus. We're back.
Today, I'll sign the budget for fiscal year 2026, a budget that makes important investments to meet the needs of our growing state without growing government or adding to our long-term liabilities.
That is Governor Brian Kemp earlier this month, complete with his trademark Southern drawl. But new research from UGA and Georgia Tech is showing that the drawl may be on its way out. Joining us now is John Forrest. He's an assistant professor at UGA in the Department of Linguistics. Almost couldn't say it myself, but using my drawl. Welcome to the show, my friend. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
All right. How unique is this Southern drawl?
The Southern drawl encodes like a particular social history in the South. It is unique in that it developed here over the past 100 years or so, and it's something that I think a lot of people feel like is pretty iconic for the area.
Oh yeah, I bet. Now, what went into your research to lead to this maybe shrinking or going away?
Yeah, so what we do is we just sit down and talk with people, record them, and then we can measure exactly, like in sound waves in your speech, how you're articulating different things. So the accent that you have is based on things like where your tongue is in your mouth when you articulate vowels. So we sit down and we talk with people. We have interviews that we've done with people born over 100 years in Georgia. And we sat down and said, hey, how is the accent changing over time? And we did find that in general, there's less of that Southern vowel stuff in the accent over time. It's not everybody and it's not everywhere, but in general, it's going away a little bit.
Now, why? What's leading to that? Is it more that more people are moving into the area, maybe from the north or from a different region where they don't use that type of drawl?
Yeah, that's definitely part of it, right? There are usually two pieces that I tell people about with this. One is that structural thing that you're talking about, right? Part of it is a lot of people are moving in from outside the South, especially after World War II. A lot of people moved into a lot of Sunbelt cities, so you have a lot of different options on how to talk. And the other thing is partly like people change how they want to sound. When you grow up, you have a lot of options around you and how you want to talk. Accents tell people who you are. So it might be people changing too, like how they want to position themselves and what that means to them.
Well, now, seems like it was more of a negative kind of thing associated with that Southern drawl. Is that also leading to it going away?
Yeah, that definitely can, right? Because there are a lot of times if people will tell you about the Southern drawl, they'll say, oh, well, it might sound like cute or nice, but also maybe doesn't sound too smart or something, is often what I'll hear. And if that's the perception growing up, that might affect how you want to talk. And that's like, if it's going away for that, that's a sort of sad thing, right? If people are doing it because they want to do something else, that's cool. If they're not doing the Southern accent because, hey, I don't want to see like people treat me weird because of it, that's not great. But it definitely is a pressure as well.
So where do you see it going in the next 20 years? Will it be around or will it be completely gone?
That's a great question. It's always hard to predict things like that. If I were to guess, I bet it would still be around, but it's probably going to be in particular pockets. I know talking with people in more rural areas of Georgia, it's changing much more slowly than urban areas like Atlanta, and we know that to be true. So it'll probably stick around in some form closer to what we expect to be a Southern accent now in those areas. But it's hard to know in 20 years. People innovate stuff all the time, and that's the fun part.
Is there any age group behind this shift of it going away?
Yeah, so over time, we tended to find that between baby boomer and Gen X sort of aged people is when the shift in the Southern accent really started. And so by Gen X folks, we really see it start going away. And by people my age, like I was born in 1988, or Gen Z folks, a lot more of them don't have much of a Southern accent.
Well, we'll have to see. Do you think it'll ever go away completely?
Not away completely in the idea that like if you're from the South and you have an accent that you got growing up here, that's the Southern accent, right? Like we're going to change what it means over time. As people change how they talk, what it means to sound Southern is going to change too. So there's always going to be something of this place, of this region that's going to be meaningful to people, but it's probably going to sound a little different than it does now.
I find that no matter where you are in the United States, whether you're in the Northeast, whether you're in the Midwest, there's always something different about what you say. People can always tell that I'm from Philadelphia when I say water.
Yeah, water's a big one in Philadelphia. But yeah, there might be particular words that come out. There might be particular just like things and terms. A lot of place names, people will immediately place you because we've got special ways to say place names and things like that. If you say Ponce the wrong way in Atlanta, people are going to know immediately that you can't say Ponce de Leon, not Ponce de Leon, and stuff like that.
Oh my gosh, I mean that's a big one there. When I first got here trying to say the right street names, I got ridiculed from that. Where are you from, John?
I'm from Charlotte, actually.
Oh, Charlotte, okay. You have a special language there?
It's pretty similar to Atlanta, but same sort of deal. People usually don't clock me as being Southern.
Gotcha.
So the same thing's happening in Charlotte as is happening in Atlanta and other areas.
Professor Forrest, really appreciate your insight, man. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right. Don't go anywhere, folks. We're back right after this. We went through it this morning, folks, with those showers and thunderstorms, but now we're clearing out. The clouds are starting to clear out. We got the sunshine in. We're going to see that for the rest of the day. 78 degrees by noon, on our way to 84 degrees for an afternoon high. Tomorrow, 83 for the high. We may start you off with a few high, thin clouds. I think more clouds will pop up during the afternoon as another front will move through the area. 83 degrees will be a high temperature, but behind that front will cool down slightly as we head into Friday. 77 will be the afternoon high temperature. Then we head into the big time weekend. This is the unofficial start to summer, folks. We can start to wear white. We can barbecue. Yeah, exciting, right? 81 degrees for the afternoon high on Saturday. Sunday up to 88 for the high. We'll start to see our clouds increase and the rain chance starts to go up as well. In fact, we'll have a 40% chance for scattered showers and thunderstorms by Memorial Day. So in the afternoon, if you're going to be out and about, make sure you check the forecast. 86 for the high. We'll continue that rain as we head into Tuesday of next week. Hey, make it a great day, folks. Try to encourage someone today. We'll see you back here again tomorrow.